Superman and Lois, episode 3, The Perks of Not Being a Wallflower. Wow, I've just been consistently blown away by this show. I think it definitely knew what it's going for. It's a stylized feel. Like I say every week, not everyone's going to love it, but if you can get past what it's doing, it's very impressive and very cool. This really subverted a lot of expectations, I think. It went in directions I was like, wow, this is where we're going. I was not expecting this, or I didn't see this coming. Very cool to see. So I'm just like, great, do more of this, please. I'm excited we got a season 2. That's awesome. We open up this episode. The family is painting the house. They have a cute little fight where John's like, ugh, Mom, this is so dumb. Like, it's just a paint color. Lois wipes some paint on him. They get into a fight, and instantly Clark is called away because there's a bridge collapsing in China. And this is kind of the part where, like, yeah, okay, there's the budget leaving, which I get it. The thing to me was, like, it looked as good as most things on the CW, so I'm not going to complain about that. I know I'm watching a CW cartoon. The paint scene was really funny when they're all fighting and playing. One of my favorite moments in the entire episode, I'll say it right now before we get to, like, the stuff with the bridge, but, like, right when Clark leaves to go be Superman, Lois is just like, yeah, I guess there's no point in hiding it from you guys anymore, and just goes right back to painting on John. I'm like, that is such a Lois Lane thing to do. Just like that casual, just like, yeah, okay, whoop, you're painted. Like, that just made me so happy, and I smiled a lot seeing that. So yeah, Clark goes to save the bridge. CGI not as good as the first episode, but it's on par with everything we saw on the CW. And I like that it kept the cinematic feel, like we saw the aspect ratio stay the same, which indicated, like, yeah, they are trying to do something here, and it worked really well. So I can't complain when that's the CGI we're doing, because it's the level of every other show that they are producing at the same time, so it's not bad. If this was, like, $1 million movie, I'd complain that's what we got, but it's like, we're seeing this every week on The Flash. Like, how can I complain if that's what we've been used to? So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed seeing that. We get a lot of interesting tension here and stuff building up. One of the things we see is that Clark has super hearing, and the kids learn about this, so when they go to school, Jordan kind of gets bullied, which alerts Clark that something's going on with them. So he appears at the school to kind of save his son, in a sense, and this sets up the tension between the family. Like, how long have you been spying on us? How long have you been listening to us when we're doing our basic stuff, like the invasion of privacy thing, which was like, yeah, I get that. That's such a thing that a child would think if their father's doing, like the helicopter parenting, like always making sure you're okay, getting involved when you don't need to, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, the kids responded in a very rational and impactful way that made sense to me, which I enjoyed to see. I really like this episode struggled with the idea of Clark trying to figure out how to be the perfect father while still being Superman. Like, we don't get a lot of Supermaning in this episode. We'll get to that more at the end here. But I like the relationship. He's like, okay, John and me, we have our tensions, but we're okay. Jordan's the one who's kind of mad at me and doesn't think I can help or do anything right, which is kind of an interesting dynamic to see, because we saw last episode that Jordan isn't probably going to be as powerful as Clark, which we know because comic book John Kent isn't as powerful as Clark. But it's a fun dynamic to see nonetheless. A lot of Lana Lang in this episode too, which I get it. We're back in Smallville. Let's spend some time with Lana Lang. We get some stuff with her daughter too, which they have a really interesting dynamic and relationship in here. So the idea comes back that the daughter, who's Sarah, she goes to therapy like every week, I think, just to deal with her issues. It's been a year since she took her mom's pills to attempt something that she didn't want to become. And, she's just starting to, like, figure out maybe this isn't the life she wanted for herself, and she acts out against her mom in a later scene where they're yelling, like, Dad sleeps on the couch, my sister's a bitch, like, everything sucks, Mom, and you're not doing anything to stop it. She quits the cheer team, which I'm like, yeah, this isn't f***ing Riverdale, guys. Like, we don't need everybody to be a cheerleader or playing sports. So I like that they're just like, yeah, we're not doing the cheerleader thing. We're a different type of lady. I'm trying to find my own way. I really liked seeing that. I thought that was really cool. And, like, the conclusion to that story where Lana and Sarah kind of confront each other, and it's like Sarah kind of admits, like, she doesn't want to end up like her mom, and even Lana's like, I understand that. Like, I've had some struggles, some setbacks. I don't know if I'm happy in my life or in my marriage because I can't talk to my husband. My kids don't want to talk to me. I'm not doing anything good. I can't get out of here. And we get a moment where she's saying that to Clark too, which is like, they are really setting up. I feel like they are setting up some conflict going to be driven. I don't know if it's going to be like a love triangle per se, because that's too on the nose. But I feel like there's just going to be a moment where like Clark and Lana have like a really genuine connection between each other that he doesn't have with Lois, and she doesn't have her husband Kyle. I really think we're going to go to that some route. Not a big like thing or anything crazy, but I think we're going there for some aspect of the show. Nothing over the top. We're just going to be seeing that in some regard. Sarah also breaks up with her boyfriend, which she's like, I'm trying to figure out who I am. If that means leaving my boyfriend, that's it. And we get a nice moment towards the end of the episode where John and Jordan, who are both now on the football team, we'll get to that in a bit here, but she's talking to Jordan, and Jordan's like, maybe you want to come to the football game? And she's like, yeah, maybe. And she actually smiles, like a genuine smile. So maybe we're setting up the idea that in the previous generation, a Lang and a Kent couldn't get together. But in this one, we are seeing that Jordan and Sarah might, which is kind of exciting to see. I kind of think that's a fun angle. Very cool to see. I like their chemistry. Like, these kids act like kids, and I love every second of that because they talk like kids, they act like kids, they have the child personality, and it works. I say kids when they're like 14, 15, but I get it. I've been there. In the modern era, I have been there too, so I think it feels realistic in a sense it hasn't before. Another thing we see in here, like I said, is the subverting of expectations, and that is that Jordan is going to play football. I was not expecting this to come. I didn't think this twist would happen, but it worked for the most part. So I really liked this idea that Jordan's like, I don't want to be bullied anymore, so I'm going to show these people I'm tough. He gets out, he's a linebacker, he takes people down, looking pretty good, looking pretty sick. John's kind of like, this is my thing. Why do you have to take my thing here? But as the episode progresses, John's like, Dad, he's actually making friends and he is genuinely happy. We should let him play football because he is doing the right thing for himself. He has never been more emotionally stable in his life. He should play football, which is just like, John's not pissed. He'd prefer if his brother didn't play because he wants football to be his thing. But just like a kid, he's like, yeah, my brother's here now. That's great. I'm hanging out with him. This John, like, I love both these kids a lot. They are very talented, very interesting. I just really like the way they are amplifying that Jonathan in particular is just willing to roll with the punches. Like, he's given up so much for his brother. If it means his brother's happy, we know John is going to be okay because he's the one that's got his emotions in check. He's okay. And maybe something will happen later on down the season where he kind of loses control of his senses and maybe he lashes out and gets angry. But as it stands, Jonathan's like, yeah, if it's going to make my brother happy, we can move to Smallville. We can have him play football. I just want him to be okay, which is a very brotherly thing to do. I enjoyed seeing that. And even when the coach makes him run laps for like not having his brother play originally when he tried out, I think it worked. John's being a good brother. He's being a good son. I think it's very cool to see. I'm enjoying that aspect. Very fun. The kids are great. Lois Lane's story continues to be great. She has somebody step forward coming out against Morgan Edge. And we're just like, well, her son went missing. We don't know what happened to him, but more people are trying to walk forward as Lois is trying to investigate the story, which leads to her car getting blown up as a message. And again, her tensions with Kyle seem to rise as he's like, Lois, you can't confirm this is Morgan Edge, so maybe don't try to confirm it is, which is a very intense moment. I like seeing it, and it's just been really fun. And now the newspaper reporter in the small town, I can't remember what her name was, where they're like, I've never done this before. Like, this is puff pieces at this place. We have never really done anything like this. And Lois goes, of course, well, this happens every day in a small town and nobody reports it. So that's something we got to focus on now, is telling the stories that don't get told when small towns have incidences like this happen every day, which is such a good Lois Lane moment. Absolutely fantastic. We do get some last minute Superman stuff here. Lois Lane is going to go talk with her contacts in private, so she goes to like this secret motel area, and when she gets inside, she realizes like the door was breaking down. She can't find her contact, and there's this big bulky guy in there. Was that Daniel Cudmore? I believe I saw his name in the credits, but that's great. A Canadian boy working in Canada. Fantastic. And we realize that she is probably going to get her ass kicked, so she does stab him in the ear with a pen, which was badass. I loved seeing that. It's just like that last... It's so like... Obviously, Superman's going to come in to save Lois, but the fact that she's like, yeah, I'm going to put up the fight before I call in my husband. That is such a Lois Lane thing. I loved it. So, stabs him, calls in Superman. He breaks through the wall immediately, starts punching the hell out of this guy, and we realize that he is powered. We don't know exactly what his powers are or who he is, but they're just having a great fight. We're seeing it slow down when Superman's beating him up and tossing him all over the place. He freezes him, punches him up. He's kind of kicking Clark's ass a little bit. It looks good, and it was so cool. So we see that the Contact is barely alive. Superman rushes her to a hospital. We don't know who this guy is yet, but he's strong enough to beat up Clark. And at the end of the episode, we see that this person with laser eyes kills the Daniel Cudmore character. And you're like, damn, where are we going with this storyline? Because I am intrigued and I am on the edge of my seat trying to figure out what's next for this world. I think Haywire is the name of the next episode, or is it something like that? Cool, let's go. Let's have fun with this. I'm just super into everything this show is doing and what it's representing and what it's trying to say. Like, it is just subverting the expectations of the teen drama on the CW. The quiet kid's playing football. Like, John's not overreacting with his emotions. Sarah's like, I'm depressed. I don't want to be my mom. Lana's like, yeah, I don't want to be me either. You know, Lois is like, I'm going to have to put up a fight. Clark's becoming a dad, and he's going to be the assistant coach on the football team to make sure his sons, in particular Jordan, are okay. It's very good. It is very smart and creative, and I love every second of it. I am just super happy we got this. I love we have this show on television that's really fun and thought out and creative, and it just makes me smile every time I watch it. So I'm very happy we have good Superman on television, and I cannot wait to see what comes next for this show. So that is my review of Superman and Lois. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, and Twitter, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.